Hi friends! Welcome back to another tarot-inspired yoga class. So today we're ending our week with the theme of discipline with the card, the Emperor. Now the Emperor is kind of like the father figure of the deck. So he's super confident, he's very driven, and he's not afraid to be ambitious. So that is the energy we're bringing to our practice today. That ambitious energy of just going after what we want and not being afraid to ask for what we deserve. So if you are a woman like me, maybe you've been kind of conditioned to be a little quieter, a little more patient, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that soft feminine type energy that we all bring to the table. But sometimes when we're trying to get things done, get super disciplined in our life, we have to ask very directly for what we want and deserve. So we're going to tap into that Emperor energy today and think about what is it in our goals for this year that we need to demand, that we need to ask for, and how do we let go of feeling like we have to always ask nicely and politely for things that are meant for us. So don't be afraid to use that Emperor energy to ask for what you want because you deserve it. It's okay as women to be more ambitious and driven about what we want in our lives. So we're gonna have a fiery yoga practice today because we are bringing the energy, we're bringing the fire. If you see a cat walk across the screen at any point, my cat's sleeping right over here with us. So today, Vinyasa flow as always. Maybe grab 2 blocks if you've got access to them. Since we're focusing on our ambition, I thought it might be fun to try out a more advanced quote-unquote type pose, something that takes a little bit of extra oomph at the end of our practice. But as always, you can skip or change any of the poses that I cue in this class. If something's not feeling like it's for you today, that's totally cool. But we are going to push ourselves a little bit just to get used to that. So let's start in a seated forward fold type position. So if your hamstrings are feeling tight, it's right at the beginning of class, maybe just place your hands behind your hips, sit up nice and tall, lengthen out through the spine. And if this feels like enough for right now, this is a perfect place to be. Just work on flexing the toes, maybe a slight micro bend in the knees, and leaning back into the hands. If you want a little bit more, you can place the hands in front of you. Maybe start to bend a little bit or sway side to side. I feel like this kind of swaying movements kind of opens up my hamstrings a little bit. Can be kind of nice. Just testing our flexibility today. Might be different than yesterday, and that's okay. We're not pushing ourselves to the brink just because we can. We know what we need, we know what we want, and we will demand that, whether that means stepping back a little bit or pushing ourselves a little bit more. It's going to vary from person to person. Maybe start walking your hands out a little farther, bending a little bit more, getting a nice stretch through the hips and the hamstrings. We're going to need them today. And when you're ready, grab behind the knees, bend the knees, and come into a tabletop. Grab your blocks, place them under each hand. And we're moving towards a lunge. Here comes the kitty coming out to see what we're doing. Hands on blocks, sinking into the hips in front of you for low lunge, and then sending the hips back. I'm going to let my cat outside. There you go, dear. Okay, moving on. So our right foot is in front in a low lunge. Sink into the hips, lift the chest, And exhale, straighten through the right leg, point the toes up towards the sky in a half splits. We're really working on the hamstrings before we get into our flow, because we're definitely going to be using that flexibility in our hamstrings, in our legs, when it comes to our peak posture today. Low lunge, just moving back and forth between low lunge and half splits, getting a sense of where our flexibility is today, moving back and forth with the breath. One more time each way, low lunge, and half splits, bowing over that extended leg. From here, plant the right foot, bend the knee, and just walk both blocks over to the left. Swivel that back shin and open the hips up towards the left side. May have seen this before in my classes, but we're doing kind of a open hip lunge here. So we're lunging into that forward knee. You can keep your hands on your blocks, or if it feels better to lift up and place the forearm on the right knee, maybe left hand on the hip or up overhead. Just focus on sinking into that front knee, hips open, getting that deep hip stretch, and just bouncing forward and back a few times on this right side. Beautiful. Same things on the left side. So blocks under the hands, step forward with the left foot, and sink into that front hip for our low lunge. Inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, straighten through the left leg, point the toes up, and bow for half splits. And moving back and forth with the breath, inhale into low lunge, and exhale, sink it back for half splits. You might notice that one hamstring is a little tighter than another one, and that's perfectly okay. I think almost all of us have one side that is just a little more stiff, maybe a little less flexible than the other side. I know I do for sure. So don't be too worried about that. We're just going to explore some fancy poses, some more challenging poses that maybe we haven't tried before, but in a way that feels good in our body. One more time each way. Inhale, low lunge, and exhale, half splits. All right, bend the left knee, plant the left foot, walk the blocks on the inside of the left foot, so towards the right, swivel the right shin parallel to the front of your mat, and open the hips up towards the right. So sink into that left hip, sinking forward, and just taking some bounces. You can keep your hands on the blocks, or maybe lift up. Place a forearm on the left shin, and just sink forward as much as feels comfortable. Working on that inner hip. Maybe reach the right arm up and over if that feels good. And just take a few more bounces. Beautiful. Lift up. Walk the blocks back, step back. You can move those blocks out of the way. One more warm up before we get started. Extend the right leg long and bend through the left knee, sole of the left foot on the inner right thigh. And we're going to work on our side bending because that's another aspect of this peak pose that we'll be trying that needs a lot of warm up before we just jump right into it. So we're in kind of a one leg extended, one leg bent position. From here, we're just going to fold our right side down as far as feels comfortable, getting a nice stretch through the left side body. You can place your forearm down on the inside of the right leg or just grab onto the foot, whatever feels natural to you. It's kind of nice to place the forearm on the inside of the leg because then you can use the right leg as a leverage to open up the chest more. So we are side bending and opening the chest at the same time. Maybe reach the left arm up and over, reaching forward and opening the shoulders up. Holding for just a moment. Getting that nice deep side bend towards the right. And when you're ready, lift up out of the pose and we'll do the other side. It can be super intense to have those side bends, seeing as deep as we can go. All right, so left leg extended, right knee bent, sole of the right foot on the inner left thigh-ish. Draw the forearm down on the mat or keep it attached to the leg. Totally up to you. Use the leverage of the elbow pressing into the left leg to open the chest up as we fold down in a side bend. Stretching through the right side body, reach the right arm up and over towards the left. So extending the spine forward towards the left foot and opening the chest up towards the right at the same time. Reach forward and open. Beautiful. Just breathing here, seeing how it feels. If it feels like too much, back out of it a little bit. I would rather you work on opening the chest up rather than reaching forward as much as possible and your shoulders just drooping down towards the mat. So keep the shoulders nice and open, back out if you need to. Just here for a couple more breaths. And go ahead and lift up out of the pose. And we are ready to get started. So, meeting in tabletop position, tuck the toes and send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Maybe your hamstrings are already feeling super open, but give it a couple petals with the feet. Gaze forward at the hands and step or hop forward into standing forward fold at the top of the mat. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, press the palms together, and exhale, arms by the sides. All right, we are going through our flow. We're gonna go nice and slow today, just to make sure we're all on the same page. It's a little more of a fun, creative flow. So way out of the traditional realm, but we are challenging ourselves today. We're getting ambitious, just like the Emperor card told us to, right? All right, so starting in Tadasana, set your pose, feel super grounded through the feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up, press the palms together. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward over the legs. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen forward. Exhale, plant the hands and step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot up and back. Exhale, draw the knee to the right upper arm and step forward outside of the right hand for lizard pose. From here, maybe lean forward and back. Feel that nice hip opening. And for an extra challenge, draw the shoulder down and underneath, weave the arm underneath the right knee. So my right arm is woven underneath, trying to get my right shoulder underneath the leg, leaning forward and back, getting a little squishy.
From here, as we lean forward and back, we're going to use our momentum to pop forward and draw the knee in, balancing on the right foot and on the hands. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down onto the shin for primal squat. So, my right hand, I'm turning towards you. Right hand is still woven underneath and around the leg. So I'm going to stay here to show you the next pose. From our primal squat, we're just going to scooch our butt down on the ground. So the left knee is still bent, right in front of our hips here. Moving on to compass pose. So if you know this pose is not for you, it's a super deep hamstring stretch, then just stay here in primal squat, or maybe play with lifting the leg, maybe extending, kicking it out. That's a perfectly lovely place to be, just testing the flexibility of the hamstring. If you'd like to join me in compass pose, our hand is woven underneath the leg, and plant that right hand out to the side. We're twisting and bending over to the right, twisting the chest open towards the left. From here, take your left hand, grab the outside of the right foot, leaning into that right hand, pick up the foot, and from here we just extend the right leg, trying to open our chest, but as you can see, it's difficult for me. So if it's difficult for you as well, I'm right there with you. Compass pose. Slowly bend through the knee and lower the foot. So, super deep challenge, but we're just experimenting, seeing how it feels. So, I'm going to turn back to the front. This is where we were. We're just going to come back the way we came, all the way to lizard pose. So, we're going to get up on our hands and up on our right foot again. The best way to do that is use your momentum. So lean back, lean forward, get up on that left shin. We're leaning our weight into the right foot and the hands, and lift the left shin up. Kick it back, touch the toes down. We're in lizard. Unwind the right hand, traditional lizard pose. From here, slowly lower the sole of the left foot on the mat, and cartwheel open the hands, meeting in a standing warrior two. Beautiful. From here, grab your block, place it on the inside of the right foot. We're going towards side angle B. So inhale, send it back, reverse warrior. Exhale, reach, reach, reach forward. Lower the hand on the block, on the inside of the foot, and reach the left arm up and over the left ear. Lengthen forward, and open the chest. Side angle B. Look down at the right hand. Move your block out of the way. Cartwheel back up to warrior two, and extend through the right knee. Turn towards the long side of your mat for star pose. Bend through both knees, goddess pose, toes slightly pointed out here. Maybe just bounce a few times. Feeling the strength of the legs here. Inhale, reach up, star pose. Turn the toes towards the long side of the mat and fold forward over the legs for wide-legged standing forward fold. Hinging from the hips and bowing forward. Hands can reach out in front of you or stay lined up with the feet. Totally up to you. Inhale, lift up onto fingertips. Bend through the knees, sweep up, star pose. From here, bend through the right knee, lean forward, skater pose. We're going to launch from forward. Use that right leg to launch us towards the back of the mat with the right knee lifted for hovering tree pose. So normal tree pose has the foot planted on the left leg. But for hovering tree pose, we're
we're using the strength of the leg to lift the knee up and out to the side. The toes are just barely scraping the inside of the leg. Hovering tree, the back of your mat. From here, couple options, depending what you feel comfortable with today. Option number one is from hovering tree, grab the right knee, open it out to the side, and just draw it up and out. Step number one. If you'd like to try hand to big toe pose, grab your two peace fingers, wrap them around your big toe of the right foot, left hand on the hip, just for balance, and kick the right foot out. If you fall over, like I almost did, that's okay. Super hamstring flexibility. Come back to hovering tree, use your balance, kick forward, and land back in warrior two. Awesome, great job everybody. Cartwheel the hands down and step back to downward facing dog. We are moving straight over to the other side, so let's do it. Inhale, send the left foot up and back. Exhale, draw the knee to the upper left arm. Step forward outside of the left hand for lizard pose. Lean forward and back on the hands. Feel it out for a moment. And then you can lower the shoulder, wrap the left arm behind the left foot, and the quad is kind of resting on my left arm here. So we're in kind of a twisted, wrapped position with the arm and the leg. Leaning forward and back, gaining some momentum until we lean forward and lift the right knee up. Slowly lower the right shin down. We are in primal pose. Again, I'm turning towards you just so you can see what I'm doing a little better. From primal pose, left arm is still wrapped behind the left leg. Scooch the butt down onto the mat. Right knee is still bent. Here is where you have options to either stay in primal pose, maybe play with lifting the left foot, kicking it out, see how it feels. Or, once again, we can play with compass pose. Now, I know I'm not so good at this side, so I'm still going to show you, just so you can see the yoga teachers can't do everything. So, my left arm is still wrapped around behind the left leg, and I'm going to plant that left hand super secure on the mat out to the left side. We're going to grab the outside of the left foot with the right hand, leaning into that left hand. We're side bending towards the left and opening the chest up towards the right. Maybe lift the left foot and kick it out. There we go, compass pose on this side. Slowly lowering down the way you came. If that was super hard, it was for me too. But we're challenging ourselves today, so great job. I'm turning back to the front. We're gonna come back the way we came. So to get up and lift that right knee, we're gonna use our momentum, lean back, lean forward, roll up onto the right shin, plant the hands, and lift the right knee. Kick it back, landing in our little twisted lizard. Unwind the left arm, traditional lizard, and cartwheel the hands open for warrior two. Great job. Grab a block, place it on the inside of the left foot, moving back to warrior two. Lean back, reverse warrior. Reach, reach, reach forward with the left hand. Lower it down to the block and sweep that right arm over the right ear. Draw the spine forward and open the chest up towards the right
for side angle B. Look down at the left hand, lift up out of the pose, warrior two, and extend the left leg. That block out of the way, turn the toes towards the long side of the mat for star pose. Toes pointed out, bend the knees, goddess pose, maybe hands on hips, sway side to side. Inhale, sweep it up, star pose. Turn the toes towards the long side of the mat. Fold forward with the long spine. Standing wide-legged forward fold. Again, you can reach the hands forward or keep them in line with the toes. And just work on bending from the waist. Take a moment here. Breathe into the stretch. Inhale, lift up onto fingertips. Bend the knees. Sweep the arms up. Hands to heart center. Bend through the left knee for skater pose towards the front of the mat. Here's where we're going to use the left leg to launch us back into hovering tree. So take a few bounces. Use the power of the left leg to launch back. If you fall, don't worry. Hovering tree on the left side. Left foot is hovering off the left thigh. From here, you can grab the left knee and just continue opening the knee out to the side. Or if you'd like to try hand to big toe, right hand on the right hip. Use your peace fingers to wrap around the left big toe. Nice long spine here. And slowly extend out with that left leg. Slow and controlled. Bend back. Hovering tree. Kick forward and land back in warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. Step back. Downward facing dog. Gaze forward at the hands. Step or hop forward. Forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, sweep it up. Press the palms together. And exhale, arms by the sides. Great job, everybody. I know that was a crazy little flow. Feel free to grab some water. Take a break. Shake it out. Shake the feet, shake the hands, shake the arms. Letting go of whatever happened in that first round. We're going to go through it a second time, a little bit more smoothly. Now that we know what's coming, we don't need quite as much explanation. So, just follow me and we'll do this together. Let's do it. Starting at the top of the mat, in Tadasana. Take a moment, reset. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, sweep the arms up, press the palms together. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward dog. Inhale, right foot up and back. Exhale, right knee to right upper arm, step forward, lizard lunge. Wrap the left arm underneath the right leg, lean forward, back, launch forward, left knee tucked in, and lower to primal squat. Setting up for compass pose, grab the edge of the right foot with the left hand, and extend out. Compass pose, lower the way you came, and we're gonna lean back, lean forward, get up on the left shin, lift the left shin up, extend back, land in lizard, unwind the left arm, cartwheel the hands up, warrior two. Reverse warrior, inhale, exhale, reach forward either with the block or hand on the inside of the right foot. Reach the left arm up and over. Inhale, warrior two. Extend the leg. Star pose to the long edge. Goddess pose, bend those knees. Reach up, star. Fold forward, forward fold, wide legs. Lift up onto fingertips, bend both knees, sweep up, star pose. Skater towards the front. Use that right leg to launch back into hovering tree. Hand to big toe pose. Extend the right leg out. Come back to hovering tree. Kick forward, landing in warrior two. Cartwheel the hands, step back, downward dog, straight over to the other side. Left foot up and back. Left knee to left upper arm. Step forward, lizard. Wind the arm behind the leg. Lean forward and back. Forward, back. Launch forward, right knee tucked. And lower to primal squat. Setting up for compass pose on the other side. Plant the left hand. Grab the outside of the foot. And extend. Lowering back the way you came. Lean back, lean forward. Lift up onto the right shin. Lift the right knee up. Extend back. Unwind the left arm. Lizard pose. Cartwheel the hands up. Warrior two. Inhale back. Reverse warrior. Exhale, reach forward and down to the inside of the left leg. Side angle B. Reach the right arm up and over. Inhale, lift up. Warrior two. Extend the leg. Star pose towards the right side. Bend the knees. Goddess pose. Inhale, star. Exhale, skater pose towards the front. Use that left leg. Launch back. Hovering tree. Moving towards hand to big toe pose. Kick the left leg out. Slow and controlled. Back to hovering tree. Kick forward. Landing in warrior two. Cartwheel the hands down. Step back. Downward facing dog. Gaze forward at the hands. Step forward. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep it up. Palms together. And exhale, arms by the sides. Congrats, everyone. Made it through this challenging flow. I know it was a lot today, but we're challenging ourselves. So, one more challenge pose. Our peak pose of the day that I've been hinting toward. You may or may not have heard of it. It's called Visvamitrasana. So for short, I will call it Visva, as most people do. It's very intense on the hamstrings, super deep side bend. The hips have to be super open. And if I'm being honest, I physically can't do the quote-unquote full pose of Visva. But I have since learned a kind of intermediate version. So if you want to see what the real one looks like, go ahead and look it up. But this is, I think, a good halfway point to show you kind of what it feels like, what muscles need to be firing, what flexibility is necessary, and I think it's just fun to try new things. So it might look kind of familiar to some of the things we've done, but we're going to start in our little side lunge position, because this is what our legs are going to be kind of looking like. We're getting a nice steep bend here with the right knee. So feel free to just watch me this first time, and then you can pause and do it yourself. I hope you do. So from this deep side lunge, my hips are open towards the left. I'm going to lower my shoulder and wrap my right arm underneath my right leg. Kind of familiar. So my right hand weaves underneath, and my right hand is on the outside of my right foot. So from here, make sure the right hand is super solid, planted on the mat, gripping as much as you can. We're going to, similar to compass pose, from here, left knee stays where it is, left hip even. You don't even need to bend deeper. The hip can be stacked over the knee. We're going to grab the outside edge of the right foot with the left hand and extend out like so, keeping the shoulders as open as they can get. I can't hold that pose for a super long time because it's just a really intense stretch in my legs. But it's fun to challenge ourselves, get a little ambitious, and say, you know what? I'm going to try this pose, see how it goes. So let's do that on the other side. And then I hope you will join me in trying this kind of half Vinyasa pose for yourself. So again, we're starting in our little side lunge. My hips are open towards the right. And just get a feel for it for a second. Plant the hand. We're going to weave the left hand behind the left shin and plant it outside of the left foot. So again, the right hip can be stacked over the right knee. If you have more flexibility than me, you can lean into it a little bit more. But I'm going to stay stacked on my right side. So make sure that left hand is super planted. It's going to support you. We're going to grab the outside edge of the left foot with the right hand. And let's see if I can do it. Kick out and open towards the right. Definitely a little more tight on my left side, but it's still fun to try. We don't have to be the best at any of these poses, especially the poses that are new to us, that we're just trying. It's okay to try and not be perfect and just have a little fun, see what your body can do. So if you want to practice that on your own a little bit more, feel free to pause the video. Otherwise, we are going to get going on our cool down. So from here, we're just going to lower down onto our back body, tuck the knees in, and maybe sway side to side, make some circles with the knees in both directions. We've done a lot of extending of the legs, so we're going to give ourselves a break and hug those knees in tight. Lower the feet down on the mat. We're going to try out a cow-faced pose laying down on the mat. So the leg positioning is take your right leg, cross it over your left knee. So the knees are almost stacked, like you're just casually crossing your legs. This can be a fine place to stay if this feels like enough for you, or you can lift the left foot and grab the feet, outside edges of the feet, and draw them out to the sides. This kind of gives you an outer hip stretch, which is not something we've really worked on today, so it might feel good to do the opposite of all that inner hip opening. Change it up a little bit. And just breathe, letting your breath slowly settle, letting your heart rate settle down after that fast-paced vinyasa flow. Slowly let go of the feet, plant the left foot, and uncross. We'll go ahead and do that on the other side. So right foot planted, cross the left leg over like you're casually crossing your legs. Staying here if this feels like enough for you, or lift the right foot and grab the outside edges of both feet, drawing them out to the sides.
Maybe feeling a nice stretch on the outer hips here. Taking deep breaths. Remembering that it's okay not to be perfect, especially on your first try. Sometimes you just have to be bold and ambitious and just go for it, even if you're not sure if it's going to work out. That's what the Emperor card is asking you to do. Sometimes you just have to jump in, give things a try, and see how they go. Be bold and loud about your dreams. Lower the right foot down, uncross, and we're going to finish with just a few supine twists, nice and gentle. So scooch the hips to the left and let both knees fall over towards the right. You can reach the left arm out or even just keep it on the body. We've done some twisting and side bending today, so not looking for a super deep twist here, just kind of a gentle, relaxing twist. Slowly lift the knees, scooch the hips over towards the right, and let both knees fall over towards the left. You can extend that right arm out to the right or keep it tucked in on the body for a little less intense of a stretch. Just looking for a gentle twist. Slowly lift back up to center. Getting ready for our final resting pose of Shavasana. So extend the legs out long, let the feet flop out to the sides, let the arms flop out to the sides. If you'd like some props for your Shavasana, feel free to grab a pillow for your head, a bolster under the knees to give your hamstrings a break, lower back a break. If it's cold in the room you're practicing in, you can cover yourself with a blanket. Whatever you need to do to feel super relaxed. And take this time to thank your body for all that hard work, trying out new things, experimenting, and not apologizing for being ambitious and going for what you want. Stay here in your Shavasana for as long as you'd like. I want to thank you for coming to class again today and every day. I appreciate each and every one of my students, whether we know each other personally or not. So thank you for being here. And I'll see you next time.